Pageant patrons, thank you so much for watching today's video. Recently, Miss Universe Philippines had the photo shoot for their evening gowns. And I do have to say, it is always difficult for me to sort of categorize which ones I like because one, I don't wear evening gowns. And then two, everybody has their own particular sense of style. So it's always kind of difficult for me to try to judge. I do know I typically have a sort of traditional sense of style because it never really goes out of style. You can always take traditional and add on to it. So in this particular video, I'm trying very hard to have an open mind. Some people have a certain proclivity toward a certain designer. I don't. I don't really care who designed the dress. I just want to see how it looks on the contestant. I do know some of the styles have probably been worn before by someone else, and so there's a tendency to judge how someone wore it compared to someone else. I don't really care who wore the dress. I just want to see how they look. So, and I know, as you all well know, this is very, very subjective. I do have to admit that I am conflicted. So I'm going to tell you why I'm conflicted at the end. I'm going to give you my top 10 first. So just hang on. My number 10 spot, I'll have to give to Miss Angeles Joanne Marie Thornley. Her dress, it is very simple, and it kind of reminds me of a bridesmaid. I do like the plumage-like structures right at her shoulders, and it's just a simple dress, and her stance is just very nice. And if you look, there's not a lot with the face. Her hair is pulled back, just that one little strand, you know, of hair, this little ringlet of hair, and it is just a very simple, clean look. I typically don't like all that extra material down at the bottom, but that's just a personal preference of mine. So I do like this gown on her, and she takes my number 10 spot. My number 9 spot will have to go to Miss Batangas Maricela Lot, and I hope I said her name correctly. But she simply reminds me of the typical beautiful Filipino woman. The long hair, the gorgeous eyes. Maybe it might be a little bit thick for me, but it just reminds me of that, the sexy pose with the arm up. And so it has these gold and blue and aqua beading. And so I just love this on her. Again, it's just a simple style, but I think she wears it well. I don't like the shadow that's behind her, but that's another thing. But she'll have to take my number 9 spot. I just think it's just a very sexy look on her. My number 8 spot is going to have to go to Miss Baguio Terra Valencia. It is just a simple, tight-fitting black dress accented with gold capes. I don't typically like capes. I just don't. But this makes her look very good. And I love what they did with her hair. But also, and hopefully nobody will come at me for this, I know this is a photo shoot, and I know all of the photos have been photoshopped or whatever, but I do, there's this very light lion silhouette that's behind her, and I think it looks very good with what she has on. It makes her look fierce. And again, I know that this particular cape style has been worn by probably lots of other people before, but I do like what they have done with the colors, again with the lion in the back, and then with her in the black and gold. Absolutely love this picture. My number 7 spot, I'm going to have to give to Miss Layette Angel Rose Tumble. And it kind of reminds me of this dramatic entrance of a beauty queen. You know, in the movies, this big gush of wind comes and her dress just kind of blows up. So we have this huge blue behind her, and I think it works well for her. Typically, I don't like that particular style, but on her, she makes it look well. Her stance, and she has these wonderful legs going on, sort of this sexy pose, just to let you know that I'm here. You know, I'm woman. Watch me roar, as they say. And it's just a dramatic pose, and for some reason, I like it. So I will have to give Miss Layette my number 7 spot. My number 6 spot, I'm going to have to give to Miss Tacloban Tamara Osier. This huge purple, this bold purple. My number 6 spot, I'm going to have to give to Miss Tacloban. I want to make sure that I say her name correctly. Tamara Osier. Hopefully I said that correctly. I like this gown because I love purple anyway. Not too keen on the cape, as you know, but I think she makes it look well. It's not overly sexy. It is not overly avant-garde. It's just a simple purple dress. And then, but I think how she poses in the dress, I love her pose in this. There's kind of this playful look, and it's almost like a dancer. If it didn't have the cape, it's almost like a dancer saying, you know, hey, come watch me, almost as if she is posing ready for her next dance. That's what I think about when I see this particular photo. You know, it's a lovely photo. So and again, I'm trying to think outside of the box here, and so I'm like, is that really outside of the box? Why do I like it? And so that's kind of the reason why I like it, is because in a sense it is somewhat traditional, but then, you know, the beading and stuff, you know, it's not over flashy. It's just a very, very, very nice dress. Now, here's what everybody really wants to know. Who's in my top 5? My top 5 is Miss Bulacan Chelsea Manalo. I love this outfit. The thing that I really don't like, it's a little bit too dark for me. So I'm not sure if that's the intended, you know, I don't know if that's what they were intending. It's a little bit dark for me, but she is absolutely so gorgeous in those colors. The turquoise cape, and then, you know, like the little two-piece gown that she has on. And I think she looks absolutely stunning in this photo, that she has to be my number 5. When I compare it with, you know, some of the others, it really drew me in. And maybe it is the darkness that drew me in. But then as I keep looking, it's like, well, it's really too dark. But then again, if that's the style that they were going for, then they did a great job. My number 4 spot, Miss Australia, Kimberly Street. She is fine as hell in this blue. I think her eyes are a little bit too dark, and there's a shadow over one of her eyes that I really don't like. But as far as her expression in this, and she has that bold blue, the way her stance, I think that she looks absolutely gorgeous. She was at one time she was in my top 5 or top 10, I can't remember, but she's definitely one to watch because 1, she is very pretty. 2, she knows how to stand and all of that. But this photo, I really just, the way that she stands, the way that the dress really contours her body, I really like that look. So that's my number 4 spot. My number 3 spot is going to have to go to Miss Pampanga Cyril Payumo. And there is such a quiet, understated beauty about her that I like. The dress is certainly not over the top, but when you look at her face and her features, she is really someone that if I were to compare her to the Latinas that she's gonna have to go against if she wins, she's someone that could actually compete with them. The dress is not overstated. It really is probably more of a simple dress, but just the way that she wears it is absolutely gorgeous. It fits her body well, and also I think the way that she looks in the dress, you know, her pose and how she looks in the dress is just so natural. You know, she has the mouth kind of slightly open, and it's, you know, it is a sexy pose, but she has such an understated beauty about her. She's absolutely gorgeous in this dress. Again, sometimes simplicity is best. My top 2 spot, I am actually surprised again that I like this dress, and it would have to be Miss Bacour VVV. This dress it's a rather interesting dress, but combined with her facial features and the way that she's wearing the dress, I have to give her my 2nd spot. I'm slightly surprised that I like this dress because it's all red. It's just too much red, but it's almost like flames. It's almost like she's on fire. And that particular look and her expression as she wears the dress, it's actually quite lovely. And and I would have to give her my number 2 spot. So congrats on that, on her styling. My number 1 spot, I have to admit, I'm even surprised at my number 1 spot. And it's gonna have to go to Quezon Province, Atisa Manalo. Why in the world would I pick this dress? If typically I don't like, like that fur that she has, but she has this certain expression on her face, and I think they did her makeup well. And she has this youthful appearance, but it almost reminds me of a mermaid. And so I don't know if that's the look that they were going for, but that's simply what it reminds me of. It's a nice, fun look, and she's wearing it well. Is she like the best one? I don't know, because as you know, all of this is subjective. But in my list, if I'm trying to think outside of the box, who could compete, who could really make it to the top, and she's really kind of going outside of the styles that I'm used to seeing her in, I'll have to give Atisa Manalo my number 1 spot. Now, in a moment, I'm going to tell you why I'm conflicted. So hold on just a sec. Why in the world am I conflicted? As I put this together and the way that I did it, it works for me. And so, but I noticed that I didn't choose 3 of my favorites. And so that's why I'm conflicted. So I looked at it. Here's the first one, Lorraine Ojimba. As everybody knows, she is in my top, probably, she's in my top 5, probably top 1 or 2, okay? But her photo, her glam photo does nothing to glam her. It's just a white dress with some smoke in the background. It does nothing to capture her essence. I really want to see them, and her hair, it's okay. I really want to see them do something with her hair. And I'm not talking about straightening her hair. Women with long hair, there are so many styles that they can put their hair in. And I love big hair. I want to see what more they can do with her styling. That's the issue for me. I think really this is too plain for her. There's nothing that really draws me to the photo. Now, my next one is Alexi Brooks. They put this big gold mask on her, and then they put some moons and some flowers some water in the background. I guess they're trying to go for like an out of Earth experience or something like that. But if you watch Star Wars, it just kind of reminds me of a female C-3PO with all of that gold. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that, but I was like, she should have, don't get me wrong, she's still gorgeous, just like Lorraine Ojimba, they're still gorgeous. But for me, again, I'm speaking only for me, and I know a lot of people are gonna disagree, but tell me why you disagree. But I just think just putting that big old gold mask on her and then putting her in front of a camera with some moons and water, just for me, it's just not a good look. And then Christy McGarry, it's just a big old black dress. They did nothing to accent her face, no jewelry, no nothing. And granted, she looks gorgeous in it. She looks flawless. I think she looks great, but it doesn't do anything to attract me to the photo. So if you made it this far, I want to say thank you so much. And let me know who you thought should have been in my top 10. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.